Richard Cordray is still waiting for a confirmation vote to head up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's the group established by the Dodd-Frank bill to give consumers more help avoiding shady financial practices. Now, some Republican senators have blocked the vote on his nomination because they say the group he heads should have more congressional oversight. So with the nomination fight in limbo at least until July, Cordray continues as a presidential recess appointee. We spoke to him today about the work he's doing and the state of limbo he finds himself in. Some people are pushing hard to restructure this a bit, to have an executive board like the FDIC does. Would this still work with that structure? What problems, if any, would that create?
So right now we're subject to considerable oversight that Congress has imposed on us. We have an Inspector General, we have GAO and other audits that we provide. We're subject to very strong congressional oversight, which I take very seriously and I think is meaningful. We have to testify twice a year in front of each chamber on our semi-annual report. We have a hard budget cap. We're subject to having rules overturned by the Financial Stability Oversight Council if we somehow were to go too far off the rails in terms of the financial system. I think we're under quite a bit of oversight as it is. If Congress changes our structure and the law is different, that's what we'll implement. We're a creature of Congress, but I think that the current structure is working quite well.
Okay. Are you agnostic to the change, or you have a preference?
Well, I don't know exactly what changes you're referring to. There's various proposals in Congress.
That it would be structured
so
like the FDIC is, rather than having the director position.
So what I would say is I think what I'm used to is a single director model. I was an elected official in Ohio before this. That was also a single office holder model. I think it creates a strong sense of responsibility. I'm one person that Congress can call up and bring me up and ask me specifically what we're doing, and it's my responsibility. I think that's positive for oversight and accountability. If there were a different structure, different organizations work different ways, and they all can work effectively.
You obviously, this whole controversy over you being a recess appointment and whether, does that affect your day-to-day? Are you less able to do your job because of the recess appointment rather than a standard confirmation?
I don't think we have been. I think we've always had the focus. It's been my focus, and I've urged folks at the Bureau, our focus is on doing the work to deliver for consumers. I mean, consumers have been the people who got the short end of the stick in the prior regime. Nobody really focused on consumers. Nobody stood on their side. Nobody saw that they were treated fairly. That's our job. It's a clear responsibility for us. The rest of this is atmosphere and it's potential distraction, but for us the right answer is every day focus on our job, keep taking steps forward for consumers. That's what we're going to do, and that's what I've insisted that we do.
What are your goals for the next year? What do you want to be doing in a year that you're not doing now?
Actually, what I want to be doing is more of what we're doing. I laid out several problems that we're attacking over the course of the coming year. Part of it is we've done a great deal of work on the mortgage market. The mortgage market was broken. A lot of people got into a lot of trouble. You've seen around the country how many people have lost their homes. People lost their jobs because the economy crashed. And I would say that debt traps are another priority for us, the kind of short-term products that trap people in debt. And that's the way the business works, is to get people living off of 300-400% interest.
Yeah, do you feel like this experiment is working?
I don't see it as an experiment. It's law of the land. And I think it's working in the sense that I think the financial industry is much more mindful now of how they're treating their customers, how they're treating consumers. And they understand that that's going to be our point of view, that we are active in overseeing the industry. And I think that the banks appreciate that we're also overseeing non-banks who compete with them. Before we had a problem. We had a market for mortgages and other financial products that people use on a daily basis, where we were only regulating part of the market and we weren't regulating the rest of the market. That's just a license for failure.
What, in the time you've been in this position, has, I don't know if I want to say make your jaw drop, but what have you been like, really? They're doing that? We have to worry about that?
So for me, that would be some of the deceptive and misleading practices by which people market various products. And some of them are outright scams and frauds, and some of them are programs by some of the larger financial institutions where they may be marketing a product that isn't worth a whole lot to consumers. So there's a pressure to be somewhat deceptive or even very deceptive and misleading about how you market it, because the benefits really aren't there for consumers.
So let's do a case study. Can you give us an example of one of these and what you guys have been able to do and what the limitations are?
So we typically do not talk about ongoing enforcement activity or investigations. Those are confidential until they're announced. But for example, it was announced recently, we're teaming up with the federal prosecutor in New York City to take down some debt settlement companies who purport to work with you to help settle up your debt, and they can get you a better deal and they can negotiate the result. And in fact, what we found was they're taking fees from you. They're not even applying those fees to reducing your debt, and you end up worse off than before. It may not have started out this way, but ended up being almost a pure scam.
Well, thanks for telling us about some of what you've been doing.
Thank you.